Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to Let's Read Tarot Together. This is a new series I'm starting on the channel. I've been talking about it a little bit, but I want to continue sort of a loose, casual, educational content here on YouTube so that I can share with you guys just tips and tricks. And one of the things I want to do as part of that is bring this sort of practical application of actually building a reading for yourself or learning how to read for yourself once you kind of get the basic meanings of the cards kind of down, right? So if you are starting right from scratch, I definitely recommend you start with my Tarot with Training Wheels series, which I will link up in the cards, and it is also linked down in the description box. That is my free brand new to tarot beginner series on how to just kind of learn the meanings. And if you want to go even deeper, I definitely recommend my Tarot Bootcamp for Beginners, which is the course that lives on my website. And it's like Tarot with Training Wheels, but it goes much, much more in depth. So either way, start there, get yourself like sort of a basic foundation of the meanings. And then this series will help you to start to put that into practice in an actual reading format. So if you have at least a general understanding of most of the cards, this will be a great jumping off point. Even if you don't, you might still pick up some bits and pieces. So with all of that sort of introductory stuff out of the way, welcome to my reading table. So what I'm going to do is work with a different deck, ideally each time. I've enough that we can probably work through them. And today we're going to be working with the Modern Witch Tarot. This is by Liminal 11, and it's a really lovely Rider-Waite-Smith, I'm upside down. Am I upside down? Yes. Rider-Waite-Smith clone style deck. There we go. That was really tripping me out with the Hanged Man on top. So this deck is modern. It feels pretty diverse. It does lean heavily into the feminine archetype or the female archetype. And in that way, it's different. It kind of breaks the mold a little bit. But I wanted to start with a deck that kind of leans pretty heavily into Rider-Waite-Smith just to give us a good starting point. And then we're just going to randomize it probably after this. But I thought this would be a great one to play with. So if you have any particular decks that you want to request that I use in this series, just drop your requests in the comments box down below, especially if it's a deck that you know I have already. And I'll see about incorporating those into future episodes of this series. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to start with a spread of some kind, and I'm going to lay the cards for that spread and then break it down, tell you how I get the meanings I get, kind of really take you into my brain and hope that that is somehow helpful to you. So I will do all the things I would typically do if I was doing a reading for myself or for somebody else, and then I'll just verbalize that process. It can be a lot, so I'm going to try to start simple and build from there. The first one I want to cover is, and that's what we're going to do today, is my basic daily spread. So this is what I do for myself on an ongoing daily basis. I will typically start with an oracle card, but for the purpose of this kind of idea of showing you what I do, I want to do it just with one single deck with just tarot, keep it simple, and kind of show you how I get there. So this is a 3-card spread, but it's pulled one card at a time rather than shuffling and like laying them all out in advance. And I'll explain why, because this is very much a conversational style reading. All right, so when I'm shuffling and I'm doing this reading for myself, just for a general any day, I usually start with a basic question like, what is it I need to focus on today? What is it I need to focus on today? Or I might ask, what do I need to know about myself today? What's really important for me to learn today? You can ask a really basic starter question, much like the kind of question you might ask for a single daily draw kind of pull. And my practice, which is important to note, is very personal growth based. So a lot of my readings have that sort of emphasis. So again, what do I need to focus on today? And with that, I will usually cut the deck, and then the card that's on top will answer that question. So what do I need to focus on today? And we have the Ace of Cups. So one of my favorite keywords for the Ace of Cups is blessing. So how do I apply that meaning to this question? What do I need to focus on today? This one's pretty straightforward. What do I need to focus on today? Blessings. So today it's going to be really important for me to lean into gratitude, to notice what is good in my life. Particularly, this is a Cups card. Cups is the emotional realm. So I'm going to put that into an emotional context by saying, I really need to be grateful for my relationships, for the emotional and romantic and other heart-based connections in my life, and really notice the love around me. That's what how I would typically form an answer to that. Looking at this particular image doesn't really add a lot to that for me. I'm really going off of my basic understanding of the Ace of Cups because there's nothing different or new jumping out at me for this, other than I would say up top here going into the cup is a heart, which would also cue me that this is an emotional or heart-based answer. So again, the initial answer to my initial question is, in what should I focus on today, is blessings. Be grateful for the people in my life, the emotional connections in my life. Be grateful for the fact that my heart is very full and I have a lot to be thankful for. So that's how I would initially answer the question. And because I don't like doing just a single card daily draw, my follow-up question, this is the next part. So I like to see this daily draw as a conversation rather than a fixed ask a question, get a fixed answer. So now that I've been told by my poll that I need to focus on emotional connections and gratitude, I have two options I might consider for a follow-up question right off the top of my head. The first would be, okay, which specific connection, which specific person in my life should I really lean into? Which relationship needs my focus today, needs more of my gratitude today? So I might ask that question as a follow-up from this. Or I might ask a question like, okay, so lean into gratitude today. How can I do that? What can help support me in leaning into gratitude? What do I need to maybe, what roadblock do I maybe need to get over? And maybe let's go this way. I'm just doing this as I think. So maybe from here, I would say, what could be blocking me from feeling gratitude today? What obstruction to this goal might come up? What might challenge me as I try to focus on gratitude? And then I would shuffle. Okay, so what might challenge me as I try to focus on gratitude today? What might challenge me as I try to focus on gratitude today? And here I have the Page of Pentacles. Now, because I asked about what might challenge me, I'm going to want to lean into the shadowy meaning of the Page of Pentacles. So often I would say in the upright, I might look at the Page of Pentacles as somebody who has, who's very resourceful, who is opportunistic in like a good way, right? Now, something I haven't talked you through with the first card because the answer came to me so quickly is that often when I do this particular practice, I will pull the card, read what the guidebook for the deck has to say about the card, see if anything jumps out at me, look at the artwork, kind of put all that together. Now, I didn't feel the need to do that with this card, but I'm going to do it with this one. So I'm going to get into the, oh, there's my bookmark. I'm going to get into the Page of Cups in the book and just see what it says. So, so it's right here. Nope, Page of Pentacles. Pay attention, Lisa. So Page of Pentacles will be right here. So it says, now remember, my question on this was what might challenge me as I work towards gratitude. Page of Pentacles. This page is truly dedicated and focused on their goals. She might be young or inexperienced, but she has the drive and determination needed to venture forward. It actually says more, but I'm going to stop because something already jumped out at me. It said, this page is truly dedicated and focused on their goals. So right away, here's what jumps out at me from that message that caught my attention right away. It's like, oh, that's what it is. And that's the experience I'm kind of trying to talk you through. Being overly focused on what it is I want to accomplish today, being overly accomplished on my own personal goals may get in the way of me really leaning into and really being in the present moment in a place of gratitude, of really recognizing what's around me. In other words, being too future focused may actually get in the way of me experiencing gratitude today. So now I have an answer, right? So the goal, focus more on gratitude, particularly relationship-wise, emotionally. And then I have my what could get in the way. Being too focused on my goals could definitely get in the way today. And what can help me? So this is what I would do as a next follow-up question. What could help me? So this might get in the way, but what can actually bolster or boost my sense of gratitude today? What can I do, or what might I notice? What might I pay attention to that could actually boost my feelings of gratitude and blessings today? So that's where I'm going to go with my second follow-up card. Oh, well, one flipped, so I guess I can't tell which one it was. So I don't usually pay attention to jumpers, but I also don't usually do most of my shuffling hand over hand like I have to do with this deck. So, okay, what might boost or bolster or make it easier for me to be grateful today? What might boost or bolster or make it easier for me to be grateful today? And I like to split. I like to kind of focus and then split. It just adds to it for me. Four of Cups. Ooh, okay. So the Four of Cups often has a more, I wouldn't say negative, but certainly a less positive vibe to it. So whereas with this card, I wanted to dig into what the shadowier side might be, what could be blocking me. With this card, because I'm looking at what's going to help me, the Four of Cups kind of discontent looking picture is not helping me right off the bat. I have some ideas, but again, I'm going to go to the guidebook first. And I say this is actually a really important point. I love working with my guidebooks in this way. I still feel like working with your guidebooks can be done in a skillful and intuitive way. I also think that sometimes we shy away from this, thinking that working with the guidebooks is like only for beginners. And it's not. It's something that some of us may feel that way about. Some of us may want to read our guidebook and then put it away or just never read it at all. But there's so much good stuff. It's almost like its own kind of divination when you work with the guidebook, in my opinion. I feel like there's an opportunity almost for bibliomancy. You can see how I work with it as I look for the thing that kind of pings my intuition, and then I go with that. So again, back to the point. Four of Cups, we want to look for what's going to help or bolster my gratitude practice today. So, interesting. Four of Cups. Life is full of disappointments, imperfections, and unhappiness. Oh, I've already got it, I think, but I'm going to keep reading for a second. You might be feeling super cynical lately, but nothing ever goes your way, and the cards are stacked against you. But the negativity isn't going to get you anywhere, and dwelling too long on regrets or failures isn't healthy. So I'm going to stop there because it's confirmed what I was already feeling. My first thought when I read that first line, I shouldn't have put it away because now I want to reference it. When I read the first line on the Four of Cups, where did it go? There it is. It said, life is full of disappointments, imperfections, and unhappiness. And it was actually imperfections that jumped out at me. When I continued to read, and I got to the part where it says that negativity isn't going to get you anywhere, and dwelling too long on regrets or failures isn't healthy, failures jumped out at me. And I was like, wait. So if I want to bolster my sense of gratitude today, I need to focus on what's going right, not on what's going wrong. I need to step out of a perfectionist place and really get in the space of being appreciative for what is good, what is happening positively around me. So now, because of that process that I took myself through, I've now come together with a very cohesive reading. So to recap, I asked what I should focus on today. The Ace of Cups came up, and I immediately felt that idea of blessings, of being gratitude. I should focus on my blessings, which to me, that's gratitude. I went from there to ask a follow-up question. What might get in the way? What might make it difficult to practice gratitude today? And I got focusing too hard on my own goals, on my own experience, on the things I want to maybe accomplish today. That can get in the way of being in the moment and really feeling into or leaning into that sense of gratitude. That's what I got from this card. And then when I moved over here, I was like, my next follow-up question was, what can bolster me? So what could get in the way and what could bolster me? And what you can see that I've done by doing it this way, by having this conversation, is I've essentially built a custom spread for me. And I do this basically every day. I start with a really simple question and then use the answer to that question to build a follow-up question. Use the answer to that question to build a second follow-up question. And in this way, it's just been a really organic way to put a reading together. But anyways, back to my recap. Ace of Cups, focus on gratitude. What will obstruct me or what will get in my way? Focusing too hard on my goals. And finally, what can bolster me? Getting away from perfectionism, focus on what's going right, not what's going wrong. Focus on success, not failure. That's what I got. And I really want to point out, because I think it's, again, really important. In this case, I don't know that I would have gotten entirely to that place without working with the guidebook. I might have seen discontent or boredom and leaned in just to that because that is my rote understanding, and that's kind of what I'm seeing in the image. With a different deck on a different day, I might lean way more into the imagery, way less away from my sort of rote understanding of what these cards mean, and I may not refer to the guidebook at all. I do love working with them, but I think the point is that this is a fairly organic process for me. And in general, when I'm stringing a reading together, when I'm kind of recapping it at the end, you'll notice that I kind of focus on a couple of key words to make a sentence. I did that without even thinking about it, so let me take you through it again. What should I focus on today? I immediately went to blessings because that's one of my words for the Ace of Cups. Focus on my blessings. What might get in the way? Goals. Focusing too much on my goals. What could help me? What could help kind of me be more grateful today? And the word that kind of jumped out at me was that perfectionism and failure. So, okay, stay away from perfectionism and failure, right? Focus on successes, focus on loosening up a little bit and being open to whatever comes. But there was kind of word formed a complete sentence in the end. And that is essentially the core of what we're doing in this whole series, is kind of looking at the different things that come into play when I'm looking at a reading. There are definitely other layers, and we're going to build on this series as we go in a bigger spread, or with a larger spread, with a different kind of, with a more targeted question, for example. I might be looking at other elements on the cards or looking for different things in the guidebook if I lean into the guidebook. And I think all of that is really, really interesting to share with you guys, because it doesn't always, I think this is the part that trips us up, right? We might know the meaning of the cards. We know that this means this, this means this, this means this, whatever. And where we get tripped up is the idea of putting it all together. Like, okay, I understand that the Ace of Cups is blessings, but then what does that mean when I draw it in a reading? And you'll notice that just in today's example, a lot of the meaning was contextualized by the question, by what I asked that gave the answer a framework to work with. And that is where a lot of, I think, the power comes from working with spreads, working with targeted questions, being very specific about what you're asking the cards. It's actually one of the reasons why I find a random daily draw, let me just pick this up. It's one of the reasons why I find a random daily draw to be less meaningful and less useful to me. What's my card of the day? I ask, right? Let's look at what that might look like. We can definitely work with it, but I want to consider the difference and how it feels. So, okay, this one jumped out. What's my card of the day? The sun. Oh, the sun's a happy card, so I guess it's going to be a happy day. And maybe this is the way my brain works, but I get overly literal and I get overly like, oh, well, if it's a happy card, it's going to be a happy day. I guess I'll feel safe. I guess maybe it'll be sunny outside. Like, there's too many directions for my answer to go. If I'd have asked about the weather and then drawn the sun card, okay, great. It's going to be a nice clear day today. Maybe that's the predictive question I asked. But if I had asked, say, what do I need to know about my, like, how about not what do I need to know about? Let's see if I asked about, is today a good day to ask my boss for a raise? And then I pull the sun card. I'd be like, okay, that's a pretty strong positive yes card for sure. Or what, let's try something else that's more targeted. What do I need to be aware of today? Like, what do I need to be warned about today? What should I look out for? What could get in my way? Again, a more targeted question. And now when I draw a card, the Two of Wands, this to me is a card all about possibilities. Things aren't actually happening, but we're considering what's possible. So what could get in my way today? Hanging out too long in this space, maybe. Maybe hanging out too long thinking about what's possible or planning, but not actually doing. Maybe I'm spending too long daydreaming, considering, and not taking any actions, right? So again, everything's contextual. And the more you give your reading context, the more you'll be able to build on it and get meaningful answers from the cards. And I think it's just common that we're told that a daily draw is helpful. A daily draw is a helpful drill. Like, okay, I'm going to draw a card a day and test myself. Do I know what that means? Sure, that's helpful. But am I going to get a meaningful reading out of just drawing a card of the day? Not necessarily. Some of you guys know that I've been using my Charmcast Tarot. In fact, let me grab it so that I can demonstrate. I've been using my Charmcast Tarot for a daily card, but I haven't been using it for a card of the day in the sense that I'm like, okay, Charmcast Tarot, what's my card of the day? No. It's what intention can I set for the day, right? It's more specific. What intention should I set for the day? And the reason I ask that question is because no matter what card I pull, I'm going to turn it into an intention for the day. I'll show you how that works. So what is my intention? What should I set for an intention for the day? And I'll pull a card. Well, a charm. In this case, let's zoom us in. I have the Three of Cups. Oh, there we go. I have the Three of Cups. So what should I set for an intention today? To connect, to celebrate, to be open to going with the flow, or maybe being social. So there's a number of intentions I could set based on what I know the Three of Cups to be about, which is usually friends getting together, connecting, recognizing that maybe where you aren't real good at something, somebody else can be good at that, and together you guys create a good team. So there's a lot of intentions I could set based on my understanding. But what if it's a really difficult card, right? Let's see if I can get one out of this pile here. Let's pull a difficult card. Okay, Five of Cups. So I pulled the Five of Cups for what intention should I set for the day. I see the grief and the sadness in this card, and that's where my mind goes for what it means. So how do I set an intention based on that? Well, I am going to have the intention that if something goes wrong today, if it just feels like it's not going the way that I want it to do, if I make a mistake, if I slip up somewhere, I'm going to set the intentions that I'm going to be gentle with myself today, that I'm going to be really kind to myself, and I'm not going to dwell and wallow. I'm going to learn from whatever experience I need to learn from, and then I'm going to move forward, and I'm not going to hang out in a space that's non-productive. Or alternatively, maybe today's intention needs to be that I'm going to really let myself feel my emotions when they come up. Maybe when I feel something, I'm going to let myself sit with that feeling before I immediately dismiss it. Maybe that's my intention for the day. You can work with a daily draw, but give it some shape. Give it a flavor, give it a context, and you'll find that your daily draw will suddenly have a lot more meaning. You'll learn more from it. You'll get more out of it. And that's kind of, I think, the goal for a lot of us with a daily draw, is that we get something out of it. And that's what I would recommend. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for Let's Read Tarot Together. This is super fun. I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to hear your feedback and what you thought. And again, if you have requests for decks or spreads you want me to cover in a future episode of this, just let me know. I'm going to try to get one of these out about every month just so that we have one to continue building on. And I can do big spreads, little spreads. There's no set plan. I just want to take you through my process and kind of share what it's like to build a reading in real time without pre-planning, without scripting it, nothing like that, just kind of showing you the organic process as I do it. So again, if you have spread recommendations or you have deck recommendations or requests, whatever, drop them down below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure and click the like button if you enjoyed the video or you found value in it. Subscribe if you're new here, and don't forget to click that little notification bell so you're notified of all my future videos. And don't forget to check out Tarot with Training Wheels or the course on my website, Tarot Bootcamp for Beginners. Thank you so much, and may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye, guys.